everyone, welcome to my craft room. I am Pam Savage, owner of Young at Heart Creations, and I am here to paint with you tonight. We are going to be painting this little board. I don't know what you call it, a cutting board. I don't know what it is. They're very, let's see, how long are they? I didn't even measure. About 11 inches tall. I got these from a store in Mississippi or Louisiana. I'm not sure. We were on vacation and I ran across a little store called Shirley's. So if you're on here and you know where Shirley's is, let me know. I cannot remember where it was. But anyway, on vacation, so they had these on a shelf, and so I grabbed all they had. And I've been painting all kinds of little things on them. Let's see, what did we have? Last time I painted on one, we did a ladybug and a daisy. But tonight we're gonna do a little Santa suit. And I've done 3 of them, done them each a little differently. This one's a little straighter with the fur, but it does look like fur. This one's, I've got a little scallop on it. And so I think we're gonna kind of go with this one tonight. We'll just see what we end up with. I don't know, but say hello as you come on. And I would appreciate it if you're not already following me, if you would hit that follow button. I am so close to 2,000, I can just taste it. So I am trying so hard to get to 2,000, but I am close to 1,900. So I'm getting really close to that, and I'll get to give out some Happy Mail when I reach that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let me get you pulled up over here on my iPad so I can see comments as we go. We're showing up. There we are. Get into it. So say hello as you hop on so that I know that everything's working. Okay, so I'm going to be using, here's what I started with the little board. And I just traced it out on a piece of paper, computer paper, laid it over, traced it out, and then just kind of drew out, you know, what I wanted. What I kind of had in my head as an idea what I wanted. And then I just painted it white and then just drew my lines on there using just a simple, I think it was a stir stick for paint. I don't know, really. I really don't know. But I've just kind of drawn a little pattern on there, and that's what we're going to go with. All right, so we've got 2 on here, so be sure and say hi or hello or just wave at me and let me know that you're here, so that if I get to 1,900 and I do a door prize or Happy Mail drawing, that's how I get your names, is I go back to the last video that I've done and pull the names from the comments. So always, if you're on here, just say hi or I'm here. That's all it takes. I'm going to start out with Tuscan Red, and a lot of times I will put, coral or light gray or something underneath the red, but I've already base coated it in white, and I'm just going to go for it for time's sake. So I'm just going to use a flat brush and may switch to a smaller angle. We'll see. I can't even remember. Just did them a couple of days ago, and I don't even remember what brushes I used. I've had so much going on. Had the paint party yesterday that was so much fun with my dentist office and their team. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bring you down. There we go. I may bring you down a little more in a minute, but looks like it's a little shadowy. Let me look at it over here on my iPad. See if that helps a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to start out with some red, and it's going to look kind of pink at first. It'll take a couple of coats. Don't have to be super careful with it in those lines, because we're going to come over it with white with the fur, so don't have to have an exact line. And I will also do the back in red. I did these that I already had finished. I did them in red after I got all done. So I'm not being super careful with the edges either about getting it on the back, because the back's going to be covered in red. Okay, and I'm going to do the whole thing. Just going to kind of come up here, and I'm going to have mostly white there, so I'm not going to worry about that. Just going to come right down to the neck here. We'll get that covered. It has definitely turned fall here in our area. We got down into the low 40s or upper 30s late last night. So definitely fall. My plants are starting to kind of wither a little bit. My annuals telling me that, okay, we're trying to hang on, but winter is coming. Okay. Well, let's see. We need to go all the way down here. These are the smallest little boards I think I've run across like this. But I thought, you know, when I do a craft show, which I'm doing one in just about 2.5 weeks, that's what I've been trying to get ready for. I take my big things, you know, my big door hangers, and sometimes I have furniture that I've redone, and I will take that, like children's furniture and little things like that, or big things like that. But I like to have a lot of what I call fillers, a lot of $10 and under items. Those are sometimes even more of a money maker than your big items. So I try to have a few things that I've done like that, you know, $10 and under. And it's worked out really well. So this will be one of those items. Last year I took the clothespins that we made into snowmen. Those sewed really well. And then my napkin Mod Podge little canvases, they always do well. I've got several of those that I will be taking. I'm going to kind of dry this so I don't get it all over my hands. I'm going to dry this handle so that I can hang on to the handle. There we go. Now I see some comments. Hi, Linda. Thank you. My first shirt that says Miss Pam. That's what all my little kiddos call me, and even adults too, call me either Grammy or Miss Pam. So, you know, I need to get a shirt that says Mr. Pam. I need to make David wear one when we go to our events. I need to get him one ordered. Not sure what I would have on it. Maybe a Bob Ross picture and put Mr. Pam with hair, because he doesn't have any hair. Well, he has a little bit on the sides, but that's about it. Okay, now I can kind of hold on to that while we do these down here. I love this Tuscan red. It just covers so well and nice and bright. Now, I'm not worried about this in here. I'll cover it up with black for the belt. But our party yesterday was 12 people, 2 of the dentists, and then their 10 employees, their 10 nurses, and staff in their lobby. And we had literally about an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes to paint. And they had never painted before, so they were all a little nervous, and especially to have to do it so quickly. And I challenged them, the pattern that I took, that snowman, I mean, it was a little more than a beginner pattern, but you know what? They just did it, and they turned out so cute. I was so proud of them. It's like a proud mama. And even Dr. Johnson jumped in there. He couldn't stay for the whole thing, so he didn't get to completely finish his, but he just painted right along with them. It was a an employee team building event, and I was just so impressed. I've been going there forever with Dr. Folger, And then she sold the business to Dr. Johnson, and she was very picky about who she let take over. And let me tell you, she chose well, because they are amazing. I don't really feel like I've been to a dentist except for the numbness when you leave. I mean, they just make you feel like you're kind of getting a spa treatment. Are you cold? Well, here, let me go get a warmed blanket for you. You know, and kind of hard not to fall asleep while they're working on you. They just make you so comfortable. So we had a really good time with that. All right, let's dry this and put another coat on. Linda, this is another shirt from teachersgram.com. Teachers Gram, GRAM.com. I've ordered several from them, and I'm really liking them. And they're pretty quick to get the items to you. Okay, now this is kind of rough up here, so I've got to kind of get down in the little holes. So I'm just going to kind of pounce it in there. And I may end up putting one more coat on it just to be certain. But I'm not getting real technical around these, around where the white's going to go. So I did the other three that I had done. I just did them all at once a couple of days ago. Was going to do all four of them, and I thought, no, this would be a good one just to sit and do live with the girls. And then I had somebody send me a message and say, would you do a live with one of those? And so it worked out good. I love Santa stuff. I display it everywhere for Christmas. I have Santa almost in every room. He just makes me happy to see him. It's so many different ways that you can do him. So many different ways you could paint him. Okay, I'm going to take one of my scroungy old rounds and get down in the little hole right quick. I don't even put a hanger on these. Most of my cutting boards I don't. I just let the hole be the hanger. Okay. There we go. So that's all painted inside that little hole. I'm sure I'm going to have paint on me before I'm done with this one. Sure I will. So we had the paint party, or I had the paint party. Mr. Pam stayed here. And then we had company come in. We didn't know they were going to get to come. We hadn't seen her. It's David's sister-in-law, and hadn't got to see her in a while, so we were so glad to get to see her. So I had rushed home from the paint party, hoping to get here before she had to leave, and I did, so I got to have a good visit with that. And as soon as they left, she had her other sisters with her. As soon as they left, we had to get ready for church. I teach the 2-year-olds on Wednesday nights, and so we had to get ready for church. And I think we just waited until we got home to eat supper. I think we did. So it was a busy day, and I even slept in a little bit this morning, later than I normally do. But our granddaughter, one of our granddaughters, was coming over for lunch today. So I got up and got ready for that. And then I had to take some of the pieces that the girls painted. I told them that yesterday, I told them that I would be happy to bring them home because I just live a few blocks from their office, but that I would bring them home and seal them for them. So I got those all sealed last night before we left for church, and I took them back over there this morning to them, and they were so excited to get them. They always look so much brighter and prettier. The colors are prettier when after you seal them. And so they were tickled to get them back and see how vibrant the colors were and the difference in them. So I was just tickled pink with what they did. And they're just a fun group. Okay, already it's starting to look, well, right now it kind of looks like Red Cross reversed. But we'll get there. Like I kept telling them yesterday, trust the process. And they did. And just amazes me. You know, they'd never painted. And to just sit down and go for it and have to do it that fast. But I was going to encourage you, you know, take your pieces with you sometimes when you're going to something like that. If you're kind of comfortable with them. Don't be afraid to take it in and just say, hey, look, I want you. I didn't even mention the paint parties. They just asked me about it, you know, and I said, this is what I do for a living. And took a snowman, I think, and I took a fall piece and showed them what I've been doing. And then I told them, you know, hey, you can do this if you want to. I can show you. I can teach you how. And they're going, no way could we ever do that. I said, well, we're not going to start out with a piece this hard. We'll start out with something easier. And I didn't tell them in the beginning that I was giving them a second level pattern to do. I didn't want to intimidate them, you know, scare them away from it. But when they were almost done, I let them know what they had just accomplished. So it was so much fun. So I don't have another paint party scheduled because of the craft show. I'm trying so hard to get ready for that. And then after the craft show, you know, you kind of kick in with all the holiday stuff. So I may have one more. I'm not sure. Not sure yet. So we still haven't had the garage sale that we were going to have. We just can't find an empty Saturday. And again, I'm not being real careful about the inside because I'm going to be covering it. Hi, Peggy. Thank you. I was just telling her that's another one of those from teachersgram.com. Hi, Roxy. You have your granddaughter, and I need to get her ready for bed. But you'll okay. All righty. Well, you can watch the replay. Enjoy the time with that granddaughter. We had our granddaughter today, our 18-year-old granddaughter. She's a senior this year. So hard to believe. I mean, man, it goes by fast. Okay, I think that's plenty dark. Let that soak a minute with that red in there. Then I'm going to take soft black, not black, but soft black. And do a little bit of shading just around these areas down here. And we'll also go around it. Okay, so let me get a shader here. I'm going to go ahead and dry it a little bit, and then we'll just add some moisture back to it. Okay, so put a little bit of water here. And again, I'm using soft black. Now the belt itself will be black. And this wood has a lot of little ridges in it. It's not super smooth. I did sand it, but it's still a little bit rough. Okay, water. I had 2 teenage boys. They were across the street. I could tell they were door to door trying to sell something. Anyway, I came on in. They were over at another house knocking, and I could hear them hollering, "Ma'am, ma'am." I just closed my door, and then I thought, you know, they were probably talking to me. Well, sure enough, my doorbell rings here in about a minute and a half. I didn't answer it right away, and so they rang it again. So I opened the door, and they were probably 16, maybe. Cute as they could be. Anyway, I opened the door, and they introduced themselves. Well, one did. The other one didn't say anything. And I said, "Okay, guys, what are you selling?" "Oh, no, we're not selling anything. We're just letting you know that we're with a roofing company and offering to come out and inspect your roof to see if there's anything, you know, wrong with it after the storms. And we haven't had a storm in quite a while." Anyway, I said, "Well, we just purchased this house and we've had a full inspection and our roof was in great shape." They said there was nothing at all wrong with it. "Oh, okay." And then you could see their faces just drop. And I thought, you know, what company is going to, they didn't even have company shirts or anything on, didn't have a card to leave or anything like that. And I thought, you know, that just doesn't add up. Anyway, who knows if that's what they were really doing? I don't know. But I let them know I wasn't interested. I was very nice to them. But, okay, I'm going to do the outside now. I'm not going to do this underneath because it'll just be covered in white. But let's just give it a little bit of a shade on the outer edge. It won't take much. Anyway, they were not real professional. Super nice, but not real professional. But cute as they could be. I thought, well, at least they're trying. Got to give them A for effort. We had a glass storm door put on our front door because we probably haven't been here a week. And the doorbell rang, and I thought it was David because he had just left, Mr. Pam, because he had just left to go to get in his truck, and I thought he forgot something and the door was locked. Well, so I fling the door open, and there's this man standing there, and it really startled me because there was nothing in between us. I mean, he could have easily pushed me back into the house and, you know, robbed us or whatever. I just was so uncomfortable. So I told David immediately, I said, "Okay, we're going tomorrow and pick out a glass door that I can lock and put in between me and whoever's at the door." And we did, and I really feel a little more secure that way. So I'm getting all the shading done underneath it before I put the fur on. So that way I don't have to worry about it. And, okay, then we'll have an outside here, and then I need to go up around the neck. I'm using an angle brush, and I'm just barely shading it around the edges. So let's do a little bit up here around the neck. Yeah, if I had not seen that They were just very young boys, very young. I would not have answered it, but they knew that I was in here. And it's like they were not going to stop ringing that bell until I answered it. And I had my phone in my hand too. I could hear them giggling across the street, and I could hear them talking, and I could tell it was just schoolboys. Yep, there's a lot of times I do not answer it. Okay, so we got that shading done. Looks pretty rough right now, but we're gonna get to that. That's a good idea, Peggy. Yeah, in this day and time, you just never know. And I did not let them know that my husband wasn't here. I said, well, we just bought this house, and my husband just had, you know, had it inspected and everything. So I think we're good. Towel here. Excuse me. Okay, so let's do, let's go ahead and do the belt. So we need some regular black, lamp black. And so I got all the red out of that brush. Actually, I'll just use this little old worn out angle brush that I've got here. I think it'll work just fine. Now you see me a lot of times, I'll do little short strokes like this before I get going. That's just kind of getting the paint evened out on it so that I don't have a big ridge up here. This is just kind of an old scruffy brush, so I don't care if I get paint kind of up in it. Okay, and I'm just coming over on the edge. Y'all, there's only, what did I post? 10 Fridays left before Christmas. Where does the time go? Kind of excited though, since this is be our first Christmas in this house. Kind of excited to see where all my decorations are going to fit or not going to fit. I'm sure I'm gonna have to be getting rid of some of them, which will absolutely break my heart. I'll have to make some choices. All right, let's dry that and put one more coat on it. That changed it, didn't it? About time I get a new tablecloth here too. This one's about had it. Second coat always goes on so much better, so much faster. I won't have near as much stuff in the craft show this year, so I don't think I'll be setting up as much of my displays as I normally do, because I don't want it to look empty. Smooth that out just a little. Now I'm washing that brush in a separate glass of water, cup of water, because I don't want my other water real dirty, because I'll use it for shading. Okay, now we're going to work on the buckle. Super, super technical here. I'm just going to use this paint stick that I've got. Let me bring you down a little more. And I'm just going to go and draw in with a chalk pencil just to the inside. Just enough to get me a belt buckle here. Okay, and then just inside there. Okay, and then I'm just gonna bring it in. And I'm going to come up a little bit further here. Okay, so very, very rough, easy drawn in. I'm going to paint it first with some primary yellow. You could use marigold or just any kind of a yellow. And then we're going to go over it with one of my favorites, Extreme Sheen. It is Deco Art, and this bottle was $2.99 last year, so I don't know what it is now, but it's Extra Sheen Gold, and it is, believe me, it is gold. But painting a little bit of yellow under it first just gives it a little extra shine. And I'm just using a cheap little round brush to kind of base coat it in. Air conditioner sounds loud. And I'll put a couple of coats on it. Okay, and then we want our little buckle. Not buckle, but I don't know what you call it. The part that goes down, goes in the belt hole. And that was such a thin coat that it's already dry. So I can just go right back over it. Hi, Pam. Hi, Wendy. New to my page. I found you through Tamra. I'm a PC sister. Also love watching your videos. Well, thank you, PC sister. What Wendy's talking about, she and I are both part of Tamra Bennett's membership that's called Painters Clubhouse. So those of us that are in the Painters Clubhouse, we call each other PC sisters. And it is a great, great painting family. And we all bond. We may only see each other through Zoom calls or just talking, commenting to each other. But a lot of times we get to meet each other at Tamra's lives. And her lives are just amazing. But her live events. So we will get to meet each other sometimes there. And it's just so exciting to get to meet each other. It's a very great painting community and so helpful to each other. I just love it. Okay, so I'm going to dry that really well. But welcome to the page. Everybody tell Wendy hi. And welcome. I am definitely not a fast painter like Tamra. Tamra is lightning fast. I'm a pokey painter. But I enjoy it so much. Okay, so this is the Gold Extreme here. And it is so gold. I've already pre-painted buttons that we'll do. And they're in that gold. And it's just so shiny. If you do anything Christmas or need anything gold like that, I very much recommend it. It has not disappointed me at all. I used it on a lot of things last year. I have a sleigh that I'm wanting to paint, and I think I'm going to use it on that if I don't run out of time. Yeah, time is running out. So I'll put a couple of coats on it, but it really helps with that yellow base coat under it. Okay, I got too far out there. So I'll touch it up with some black. First coat looks good, but it's that second coat that really brings it about. And I'm not too concerned about right in there because we're going to have the fur coming over it. And I've got my chalk lines still showing, but those will wipe right off. I use chalk so much when I'm putting my patterns on because it's just so easy to get rid of and easy to paint over. Okay, let's not forget that little prong. We'll call it a prong. Okay, let's dry it. And we'll put another one on there. Hopefully you can see that shine on it. Wendy, this is what we're painting. Any of y'all that just hopped on. Okay, let's put that second coat on. Okay, I'm going to dry it. Okay, that should be good and dry. And then I'm going to take my wet cloth and just go right over where those chalk lines were. Those chalk lines are gone. Now I'm going to touch up that black here where I went outside the line a little bit. Alrighty, we're getting there. Okay, so now I'm going to take some white. And we're going to do the holes in the belt. So I'm going to first do them in white. And I've got this little dauber that worked out just fine to use it. But you could also just paint a circle or use like the tip of your brush, the handle part. But I'm going to do it in white first because that red is not going to show up good on that black if I don't do something underneath it. Probably should have done this first before I put that little gold thing there, but I think we'll be okay. Okay, so we're going to dry that. And get that cleaned out pretty good. Then we're going to go over it in the red. Oh, I just dropped it down in my water. I did not mean to do that. Let's see if I can go fishing and dig it out. Oh, look, it's floating. Yay! I really dropped it down in there. I thought I'm going to have to go fishing right here on my live. Okay, I want to get all that water out of it though. And then we're going to dip into our red. So I'm dipping it on, but then I'm kind of pouncing it off. Okay, we'll let that dry a little bit and then I'll go over it with, to make it look like the, what do we call it, prong, goes down into the circle. But we'll let them dry good. Okay, so let's get started with our white. And I'm just going to use these little cheap little sponge pouncers. And let me pour some more white because we're going to need more than what I've got out here. Got a dirty palette, and I don't usually use dirty palettes. I usually start fresh, but I'm trying to get better about not wasting the plates. Okay, so I'm just going to pounce it on there pretty good and heavy. And I'm just going to start pouncing because I want a little bit of texture. And then I'm going to kind of make little I'm not sure what I'm trying to, the word that I'm trying to think. Scallops. That's the word I was trying to come up with. And I'm not even going to worry about bubbles because I want some texture. Okay, there we go. Now let's work on this one up here. Gonna round them out. And And I'm going to go right over some of that buckle. Went over quite a bit of it, more than I intended to, but I think it'll be fine. Just kind of makes him look like his belt's tight. It's got my hand in it. You could do this with a brush also. Okay, let's do this one down here. And we're going to have kind of fuzzy coming out from it, so they don't have to be perfect circles. Okay, let's dry it and put another coat on it. And then I finish it out with a gloss sealer. That really makes it look Christmassy. Hi, Cindy. So if you are a new viewer, new to my page, and you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you would hit that follow button. I'm trying really, really hard to get to 2,000 followers so that I can give a really nice happy mail out. We'll do a drawing for that. All right, and yes, we do need to go over again. And these may splatter a little bit on your red. I see some tiny little dots there where it's splattered, but that's super easy to touch up, to just go back and touch up with your red. I think 2's gonna get it. Okay, let me look at it. I think it's pretty even. I think we'll be fine. Okay, so I'm going to drop that in the water. Hi, Laura. Welcome to the page. If you're a newbie, let me know. We've got some great women that follow on here. They are just super, super supportive, and they always have great ideas for me. And if I'm stuck on something and ask a question, then they're comfortable enough that they'll just jump right in with me and tell me what I need to do or change. Okay, well, I've still got some red out here that's wet. Let's go ahead and touch up those little dots of white on there. And they're so tiny, you probably can't even see them. But I can see them. I know they're there, so I need to get them fixed while I'm thinking about it. And there's some with black. Okay, and I think I'm going to try to go over. No, I think that's okay. I think that'll be all right. Let's put a little bit of that prom back over that hole. Come back with the gold. I'm going to come back with that soft black. Just make a little indentation here, like it's kind of going down in that hole. Add a little more red. Once these dried, I can see a little bit of that underneath, the black underneath. There we go. Okay, now to do, the fur look, I guess. I've got an old scraggly brush here. I could take this and just kind of do a little dab around it to make it look like the fur, but I'm just going to get a little bit on the tip of this. It's dry. I have not put it in the water yet. So I'm going to get it thick on there, but then I'm going to get some of it off on my paper towel. So it's kind of like a dry brush. And then I'm going to go, wait, before we do that, I almost forgot, I need to shade around them. I think that really makes a difference. So I'm going to go with that soft black. We're going to go around these little scallops. Now that I know what I was trying to call them. And just real quickly, I'm not going to really think much about it. I'm just going to go around them. And it will show up underneath the fur lines that we're going to do. And I'm not even trying to be super precise with it. So I've got the shading there. So I'm going to go down this side. I'm going to wash my brush out. Just put a little water. You could do this with straight black as well. But I really like the soft black. It's not quite as in your face. And it's a little bit different than the belt, so that helps too. Okay, Peggy, I'm holding you responsible. I need to shade inside the belt gray. Don't let me forget. Peggy is my, she's so good at spotting things that I miss, that I forget. Water on there. She's my second set of eyes. Her and Roxy are really good about keeping me on board with what I need, what I've missed. We will be going to, our preacher's daughter is getting married. It's going to be an outdoor wedding tomorrow on a beautiful family land that his family owns, and so I'm really anxious to go and see. It's going to be a very simple but beautiful wedding, and I'm just so anxious to go. They are a very sweet couple and have been dating for several years. And they were kind of waiting till they were almost done with college. They decided, instead of having a big wedding, that they just wanted to have something small with family and a few friends. And they bought a house. Instead of spending a lot of money on a wedding, they bought a house last week and are going to be doing a little bit of renovation to it. So I thought that is just so smart. Okay, so almost done with this part. Okay, got that one. The cutting boards, Linda, I got, it was either in Louisiana or Mississippi. We were on vacation, and it was, the store name is called Shirley's, and it's one of these, they may not ever have the same thing twice. They kind of get things that didn't sell at other stores, or if the other stores were overstocked on them. And so every time we go to see in Laurel, Mississippi, so yes, it was in Mississippi because we were on a trip to see the hometown, where the hometown show is filmed, and we went to Shirley's there. So it was just outside of Laurel, and so it's the only time I've ever seen any this size, but I'm sure you could probably find them on Amazon. And they're 11 inches long from top to bottom. And they're about 3 inches wide. And they've just been really great for doing little, what I was telling them earlier, the craft show that I do. I like to do some little fillers along with my big items. Some things that are like, you know, $10 and under. Those sometimes will get customers into your booth, and then they will see. So I always put the little filler things out close to the front, just something to kind of grab their eye and pull them in. And then a lot of times they'll go ahead and buy one of the bigger items. Okay, Get some of that water off of there. A little bit too much water on that one. Okay, a little more there, and then we'll put the fuzziness on after I do the belt. Got to do the belt, Peggy. Okay, so just very quickly shading that in, and it just makes such a difference. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of gray sky and just inside the belt here, do some highlighting. So highlighting is the same thing, same technique. The technique is called floating. And if the color that you're using is darker than your base color, then it's called shading. If it's lighter, it's called highlighting. So we just shaded all around those. And now we're going to highlight on the belt. So I'm going to add a little bit of moisture. And do a little bit of that gray sky on there just to give it a little bit of a highlight. Now, I didn't add any moisture over here, but I still have plenty in my brush. Okay, and that was a little bit much. So we'll tone it down. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of black on the tip of my brush just to kind of tone that down a little bit. And then I'm going to come back over it. Okay, and not quite so much. Okay, better. Better. Okay, so now we have highlights on the belt. Okay, I'm going to go back to this little scruffy angle brush. See how the bristles are just not going to make you a chisel edge. It's just kind of scruffy out there. And I'm going to get it on the tips. I'm going to get some of it off because I want it dry. And then I'm just going to start going around. But wait, do we want to? Let's see what I did on that one. Yes. I'm sorry. Can't remember what I did 2 hours ago, let alone 2 days ago. So that gray, let's go ahead and go a little step further on this shading. And let's do some of that gray. Let's see if I want the gray sky or if I want a darker gray. A little bit much water on there, so I'm going to dry it just a little bit. Okay, I think this color gray is going to be just fine. I wanted the gray to kind of separate this fur from this fur. A little more water on my brush here. And I need to remember the sides. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the scallops right quick, because I think it will really kind of help that fur look. I think on this other one I went with the darker gray. But we're just going to go for it. Most of the fur looks gonna, when we go in with the brush, it's gonna cover it up anyway. But it's so fast to do this, so I really think it's a step that helps. That's worth taking a couple extra seconds and doing it. And this gray sky is so light that it's not real harsh. Okay, so add a little bit of water. And we're doing good on time, so we're just going to go for it. And I'm just quickly going in and around these, because again, they're going to be covered up mostly. But it does give you a little bit of background for that fur. So these are fast little things to work on. You could do these on ornaments, just about anything, even without a Santa face, and it's going to look like it's going to instantly make you think of Santa. And when I finish here, Mr. Pam probably won't be home yet, and I'm going to pop in a Christmas movie and pop some popcorn and have me some Christmas. I did buy my Christmas cards that I send to my family, and I've got my Christmas letter almost ready to print. Okay, so that was so quick, but I think it added a lot to it. So let's dry it right quick and let's get our fur on. Fur reel. Fur reel. I've been telling you we're going to do this for the last 10 steps. Yeah, I haven't even looked on Amazon to see if they have any, but I bet they do. I bet they will. or something similar anyway. Okay, so back to the brush. Let me get it good and dry. Dry and scraggly. Okay, so I'm just going to start, let's start down here. And just got it on the tip. And I'm just going to kind of pounce. Around. And I'm going to go ahead, even though it's not going to show it much on that white, I'm going to do it anyway over that gray, so they'll all be kind of alike. And do the sides. And I'm just barely touching it down, and I'm going up and down around those scallops over his belt. Okay, didn't know which side that was on. I'm backwards. Okay, so you can see right here. Looks a little more furry. And I'm trying just not to think about it, not get it precise. I don't want them all the same. Some will be sticking out a little more than others. And if you're not sure what the brush is going to do for you, the one you choose to use, go get you a piece of poster board or paper. If your paper's white, just do it in a different color so it'll show up for you, and just kind of practice with it and see what it's going to do for you. All right, let's do the neck here. Okay, going to do this bottom section. And again, I'm going to come right up over the belt. I don't want to completely cover that belt buckle. Okay, so some easy peasy fur. Okay, now let's do our buttons. I first was going to do, let's see, Okay, I'll let you choose. I'm going to let y'all vote on this one. Okay, here's the finished one. And I've got just the 3 buttons here on top. Or do we kind of bring it down and put one down here? Okay, so I'm going to go, let's see, number 1, because it's the first one I've got finished. So this is number 1 with the buttons on top. Or just put top, bottom. If you like them all on the top, put top. If you think we need to space them and put one down here on the bottom, put bottom. So top or bottom. I'm going to give you just a second to decide that. And I'm going to be drying this front part. Okay, so I've got 1 vote for top from Linda. Okay, so we've got 4 on here that have commented. There may be more of you watching that I don't see, but... Okay, so we've got top from Linda. Anybody else before we go with top? Okay, so top it is, Linda. You are the decider. Okay, so I'm going to get I glued my lid to the stick fast glue. It will not come off. It is glued tight. So I've just been closing it with a brush, the handle of a brush, and I cut it off. I cut the tip of it off. So I got to make sure it doesn't just go everywhere, because that's a big opening. So let's see what we can do here. I don't want to make a mess. And I'm going to have to be careful sticking that brush back in there. Okay, there's button number 1. I know, Linda. I took it to the paint party yesterday, and I think I did it when I was putting the hangers on there for them. I think I did. I usually wipe it off with a wet cloth before I put the lid back on it, and I did not do that, and I think that's when it happened. The stuff sets so fast. Now these buttons are wooden buttons. They came in a package of all different sizes. So there's the back of it. I got them off of Amazon. And you can paint them whatever color you want to match your project. And I love them. There's some tiny ones, this size, some medium size, some larger ones. I don't remember how much they were, but they weren't much at all. Whoops, I dropped it. Okay, now let me wipe that off. And I'm just using an old brush, so if it does get stuck in there, and luckily it's almost gone. It's just about to down here, but I'm trying, stuff's expensive now, so I'm trying to salvage it if I can. When I first started buying it, it was $7 and something a bottle. Now it's like $14.99 or so. It's way too much. Okay, I've still got a little bit of red out here. Probably going to need a little bit more. And we'll go ahead and do the back. And it will be ready to seal in the morning. I'll wait until morning, let it cure overnight. Now I want to be careful where I've got it painted, the belt, and I don't want to get it on the fur on the other side. So I'm trying to be a little careful. And painting out from my edges so I don't get it on the other side. Then you can smooth it out, and it'll definitely take 2 coats. Everybody have a big Halloween planned? Do you take children trick-or-treating, or do you have children at your house that come in your neighborhood? I've been told we have a few that come in this neighborhood. They said usually about 20 families or so. We've never had trick-or-treaters. At our old place was out in the country, and nobody ever came out there. We had our grandchildren, you know, every now and then they would come, but a lot of times we would just go with them. I always try to finish the backs of my projects. I just think that it just gives them a little more finished look, but you do not have to. You can just seal them. Just make sure they're sealed really well. Thank you, Carol. Mod Podge has gotten very expensive too. Oh, I haven't bought that in a long time. Everything has gotten expensive. You're right. I don't know how these younger families are managing it. Young families and those of us on fixed incomes. Okay, I'm going to put another coat on there. And I don't care if it's covered completely, but I don't want it real streaky looking. Another reason I don't like to take them out back and seal them at night is because the bugs are so bad at night. If I turn the light on, the bugs, I end up with a bug in the project and have to try to dig it out. And the snakes. We had a snake visit us on our patio. It was just a rat snake. But Mr. Pam, there's not many things that he just does not like. But snakes, he has a snake phobia. I'm sure there's a technical term for that. But he does not like, he just cannot handle snakes. So, anyway. And then the people 2 doors down from us killed a copperhead. We have a creek right behind us, and I'm sure that's what draws them. Okay, what do you think? I'm going to go back through and see if there's any red I need to touch up, and I do see some already. Little splatters of white. I think that's about it. That was quick and easy, so a little easy project for you. Now, you could do this on the big cutting boards as well. Let me lay that on this side and I'll show you what else I'm working on. You saw the candy corn that I did, that I posted that's on here. There's that little face that we did. Well, I decided also to do some Santa faces on them. So I've got them drawn out and ready. But I've also got, let me show you. I'm going to get up for just a second. Let me raise you up here and see what I did. Well, let me think what I did with it. Well, the snowman round with the snowman face that we just did at the paint party. Let me see if I've got one over here that I've painted. Here it is. Let me grab it. Okay, so if I get to go live this weekend, if I get to, which would you prefer to see painted? This guy, little snowman, that's what we painted at the paint party, and they did so good. Or the Santa on the little candy corn. So y'all let me know which one, snowman or Santa. So I've got to get them all painted. I've got one more of these to paint because I prepared one extra for them. So I can paint this, or we can do the little snowman. May be able to do both, but which, in case I run out of time, which would you like to see first? The little Santa or that light out of my face? Or okay, candy corn Santa or the snowman. So far, I'm getting candy corn Santa. Okay, so I'll give it about 30 minutes, and I'll go in and do some comments. And maybe not that long, maybe 15 minutes. I'll go in and do some, see all the comments and see if it looks like it's going to be Santa all the way so far. So, okay. So, looks like that's the vote. But if I end up painting this and I have time, I'll bring you on for this one too, just so we can chat and paint while I paint. But that's it for this one, girls. Okay, so here's what it looks like before we do anything with it. Just trying to think, does it look funny without the belt holes over here? But typically you don't have belt holes on the left-hand side of it, do you? I didn't on this one. But here it is with the glossy shine on it after you spray seal it. And then kind of dull without it. It sure adds to it when you put that glossy sealer on it, or even the matte sealer. It just brings out the colors in it. Okay, that's it for tonight. I'm gonna go get me a Christmas movie going. I love Christmas. I love everything Christmas, and I'm just gonna go curl up in a blanket and watch a Christmas movie and think about all the things I still want to paint. I've got so many things over there on my shelf that I want to get done before the craft show. I know it's not going to happen, but I'm going to paint until I just can't paint anymore. And I'm just going to have to pick a day and say, okay, stop. That's it. That's all. Because I've still got to price everything. Most of the things that I've been doing the last 3 weeks, I've been price tagging them as I go. But I've got some things that we moved over here from the old house that I had painted that I don't have price tags on. So I got to get all that done too. All right, good night, ladies. Thank you so, so much. If you haven't hit that follow button, hit that follow button. And I would appreciate it if you would spread the video out for me. Thanks. Y'all have a great weekend. Bye-bye.